In this video, you're getting my completely unfiltered, honest review of Coderabbit, the AI powered code review tool that's been making waves in the developer community. I'm going to tell you exactly what it's like, what works, what doesn't, and whether it's worth your money. And just to be crystal clear, this isn't sponsored content. Coderabbit didn't pay me a dime for this review. Coderabbit is an AI code review assistant that integrates directly with your GitHub pull request. Think of it as having a senior developer automatically review every piece of code you write, but instead of a human, it's an AI that supposedly understands your code base and can catch bugs, suggest improvements, and help maintain code quality. The tool promises to automate the tedious parts of the code reviews while still providing meaningful feedback. It analyzes your pull requests, understands the context of your changes, and leaves comments just like a human reviewer would. The big selling point is that it learns your code base over time and provides increasingly relevant suggestions. Getting started with CodeRabbit is surprisingly straightforward. You connect it to your GitHub repository and automatically starts reviewing new pull requests. The setup will take you about 5 minutes, which is refreshing compared to some other developer tools that require hours of configuration. The onboarding process walks you through connecting your repositories, setting up review preferences, and configuring which types of issues you want CodeRabbit to focus on. You can customize it to be more aggressive about catching potential bugs or more focused on code style and best practices. One thing I appreciated is that it doesn't require any changes to your existing workflow. Your team can keep doing pull requests exactly the same way, and CodeRabbit just shows up as another reviewer leaving comments. The interface is clean and integrates seamlessly with GitHub's existing pull request UI. When CodeRabbit reviews your code, its comments appear right alongside any human reviewer comments. Each suggestion includes an explanation of why it's flagging something, which I found helpful for understanding the reasoning behind its recommendations. The AI doesn't just point out problems, it often suggests specific fixes or improvements. Sometimes it'll even provide alternative code snippets that are more efficient or readable. These go beyond basic linting and actually feels like having a knowledgeable colleague review your work. Navigation through CodeRabbit suggestions is intuitive. You can resolve, dismiss, or ask follow-up questions on each comment, just like you would with human reviewers. The tool also provides a summary of all the issues it found categorized by severity. Now, what does CodeRabbit do well? Let me start with what genuinely impresses me. CodeRabbit caught several bugs that completely missed during own reviews. You will be talking about subtle logic errors, potential null pointer exceptions, and edge cases that could cause problem in production. There were at least 3 instances where it saved me from pushing problematic code to production. The context awareness is surprisingly good. It doesn't just analyze individual lines, it understands the broader function and sometimes even the entire file context. I've seen it catch inconsistencies between different parts of a function that a simple static analyzer would miss. Performance suggestions are another strong point. CodeRabbit frequently identifies inefficient loops, unnecessary database queries, or memory heavy operations. In one case, it suggested a more efficient algorithm that reduced the time complexity of a function. The learning aspect actually works. After a few weeks, I noticed that CodeRabbit suggestions became more aligned with our team's coding standards and preferences. It started flagging at things that were specific to our code base patterns and stopped making suggestions that we consistently dismissed. Now, let's talk about the frustrations because there are definitely some. The biggest issue is false positives. CodeRabbit sometimes flags perfectly fine code as problematic, especially when dealing with more complex patterns or newer language features. I'd estimate about 20 to 25% of its suggestions are either wrong or unnecessary. It can be overly verbose sometimes. Instead of a concise comment about a specific issue, it might write a paragraph explaining basic programming concepts that any experienced developer already knows. This creates noise in the review process rather than adding value. The tool struggles with highly domain specific code. If you're working on specialized algorithms, mathematical computations, or industry specific logic, Coderabbit suggestions often miss the mark. It seems to work best with standard web development patterns and common business logic. Integration limitations are another pain point. While it works great with GitHub, support for other platforms like GitLab or Bitbucket is either limited or non existent. This could be a deal breaker if your team uses different tools. CodeRabbit is generally fast. Most reviews complete within 2 to 3 minutes of opening a pull request. However, I've experienced a few instances where reviews took 10 minutes blast or failed entirely, which can slow down development workflows when you're waiting for feedback. The service availability has been solid during my testing period. I can only recall one instance where CodeRabbit was completely down, and it was resolved within a few hours. For a relatively new service, the uptime has been respectable. Resource usage on CodeRabbit's end seems efficient. Unlike some CI or CD tools that can bog down with large code bases, CodeRabbit handles sizable pull requests without significant performance degradation. CodeRabbit uses repository pricing model. The basic tier starts at around $12 per month for small teams with enterprise pricing available for larger organizations. Compared to hiring an additional senior developer for code reviews, it's obviously much cheaper, but you need to evaluate whether it provides enough value to justify the cost. The cost would be reasonable for a team of 4 developers, considering the bugs it's caught and the time it saved during code reviews. However, if you're a solid developer or very small team, the pricing might be harder to justify. The value really depends on your team's current code review process. If you already have rigorous reviews with experienced developers, CodeRabbit adds incremental value. If your code review process is inconsistent, or if you're working with junior developers, the value proposition is much stronger. Should you use CodeRabbit? The answer depends on your specific situation. If you're a team that struggles with consistent code reviews, has junior developers who could benefit from automated feedback, or works on complex code bases where bugs are costly, CodeRabbit is worth trying. For experienced teams with already solid review processes, the value is more marginal. It's a nice to have rather than a must have. Solo developers might find it helpful for catching their own blind spots, but the pricing could be prohibitive. I'd recommend starting with their free trial if available, or at least the lowest tier to see how well it works with your specific code base and development patterns. CodeRabbit is a solid tool that does what it promises, provides AI powered code reviews that catch real issues and improve code quality. It's not perfect and it won't replace human reviewers, but it's a valuable addition to a development team's toolkit. The technology is impressive, and I can see it getting better as AI continues to improve. My biggest hope is that they'll reduce false positives and improve domain specific understanding over time. If you're curious about AI assisted development tools, CodeRabbit is definitely worth exploring. Just go in with realistic expectations and be prepared to tune it to your team's specific needs.